All right, today another math book, what you might want to have in your mathematical library. It's a series called The World of Mathematics, edited by James Newman. And this is volume 1. I have volumes 1 and 3. I have not read all of them. They're long and sometimes difficult, but they have a handful of different things going on with them. I wanted to highlight this one. You can get the whole series if you want to. If you really love math and you really want to go deep and you really want to learn all that you can learn. What he's done, it's called, it says it's edited by him because it's a collection, okay? The World of Mathematics, Volume 2, covers mathematics in the physical world, mathematics and social science, the laws of chance. Volume 3, statistics and design of experiments. So what he's done is collected some of the best information about different aspects of math through all of these volumes, so it can be a great resource and reference for you. So for example, if you were going to take a statistics class, then you could go to Volume 3, Statistics and the Design of Experiments, and you would be able to read some great articles that discuss and talk about that specifically, that will help you understand statistics better. The Vocabulary of Mathematics, Mathematics as an Art, The Unreasonable of Mathematics, those are all things in Volume 3 that might really fascinate you, might want to read about. Mathematics in Warfare is part of Volume 4, Mathematics as a culture clue. So this is Volume 1, and there's parts 1 through 4. 1 is General Survey, 2 Historical and Biographical, 3 Arithmetic, Numbers and the Art of Counting, and 4 Mathematics and Space of Motion. Now the reason I'm highlighting Volume 1, and I don't think I'll do the other volumes, but it's because this first section, now I am not big into math, but sometimes kids are, and I've got one child that I think is going to be the most interested in math. And if you've got one of those at your house, this could be really helpful. And if you read alongside them, they could really get excited about some different mathematic concepts, because there's so much to know. It's a huge topic. And so you probably want to have a few references in your house. I've given you some of those. It's another one. Part 1, called A General Survey, is The Nature of Mathematics by Philip Jordan, or Jourdain. I'm not sure how you say it. It is really helpful to read. It's 75 pages, and if you never did anything else except for get this and read this and then maybe have Meta-Mathematics and go through a few of those biographies over time, and then of course you have mathematicians or people too and those other ones at your house, you're going to have a much better understanding of why math is important, what it does in the modern world, what it means, how algebra means something, and calculus means something, and statistics means something. It has this little commentary on this author that wrote this Nature of Mathematics, the growth of mathematical science in ancient times, the rise and progress of modern mathematics, algebra. Then he does analytical geometry. So it's this 75-page introduction from someone who really knows what they're talking about, what math is, how it's different from art and science. This is something that is really, I think, important to understand in a home, in a school. So often kids take different classes, and math means numbers or sometimes geometry. You know, science means experiments. But really at bottom, they're different ways of analyzing life. Religion is another way of analyzing life. Religion and theology. There are different ways of thinking. There are different ways of finding truth. Ultimately, they're pursuits of truth. And when understood correctly and seen as pursuits of truth, then you can appreciate them for what they are, and you can find yourself and appreciate what other people have done in their realms of expertise. This is by... he says, I hope that I shall succeed, says Jordan in his introduction, in showing that the process of mathematical discovery is a living and growing thing. So he wants to show that math is vibrant and growing and changing, and that people are learning. There's no real reason why, with patience. Okay, so he starts out, I love this introduction, when he starts out and he talks about why people are scared of math. They shy away from math. And I think it's fundamentally because they don't know why math can be fun and interesting and what it's supposed to be doing and what it's supposed to be. It seems so often like it's just a means to work out certain equations, but when we talk about Nicomachus and some other mathematicians, if you look at those posts, you'll see that there's some really fun little games that you can do with math and things that you can do that are really about mathematical thinking. He says, even men of a most abstract science, such as mathematicians or philosophy, are cheaply adapted for the ends of ordinary life. When they think at the bottom like other men. They are often more highly trained and have a technical faculty for thinking that comes partly from practice and partly from the use of the contrivances for correct and rapid thought, given by the signs and rules for dealing with them that mathematics and modern logic provide. So sometimes mathematicians are really highly trained and they have certain gifts and talents that enable them to make advances in this subject. But there is no real reason why, with patience, an ordinary person should not understand, speaking broadly, what mathematicians do, why they do it, and what, so far as we know at present, mathematics is. Patience, then, is what may rightly be demanded of the inquirer. And so then he goes on to talk about, I've distinguished between mathematics, the methods used to discover certain truths, and mathematics, the truths discovered. He explains the difference between textbooks, and then he gives history, and he explains where different root words come from, and why this is what algebra means, and what different words in math mean, and why those mean things. And he explains some basic concepts of math to help you have a foundation. So it's only 75 pages, and I really think that if you get this one book and you read through what Jordan or Jordan, whatever he says, with this introduction to math, you're going to think about math a little differently. You're going to look at what mathematicians do differently, and you're going to appreciate it for itself, for what it's trying to be. One of the things that's so eye-opening when you go into the great books, when you read someone like Archimedes or even Kepler or Copernicus or Nicomachus, when you read the beginnings of their works, and I've not read all of them, what you find out is that that's what they say. They say they're pursuers of truth. They say that they're trying to use a specific means to find out truths. And the fact that we go to the moon and that we carry around iPhones and use computers is a tribute to the fact that they have found certain truths about how certain things work in the world. And we can make massive bridges that hold things up. We could do all kinds of things specifically because mathematicians think a certain way. We also have discovered much about human nature and how to be inspired by the arts. And the arts have great impact to inspire and enlighten and move us forward towards truth or away from it. So these are all different aspects and ways of thinking. I want to emphasize that. And this is a tool that will help you move forward and a little bit more in your understanding. You're going to get lost, even in this introduction. And you might feel like, "Boy, I'm just so stupid. I don't understand this basic thing." It's hard. It's not easy. I felt exactly the same way. Go slowly. Read as much as you can understand, and then return to it later. And when the time comes that your kids are old enough, and you want to talk to them about God, and you want to talk to them about doing what's right because it's right, and principles and absolutes, then, when they don't want to do their math, you can say something concrete about it. Not just that it's had great impact in the world, but also that it's developing certain thinking skills that can't be developed any other way. That's why we do art and we do math and we do science, but we need to remember what they are and how they're important in history. And I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but it's fun to understand, and it's fun to have those epiphanies when you get it. And you will stretch yourself as you practice doing a little bit of math, and you practice doing a little bit of art, and you practice doing a little bit of science. Whether or not your kids are in public school or private school or charter school or homeschooling them, no matter what your path is, this is something that's great for parents to do. This is what the Ten Booms did. This is the Ten Boom Institute. Father Ten Boom had 5 scientific journals that he ordered, and he read them in the evenings, and he read them out to his children, and they talked about scientific discoveries, and they talked about mathematical discoveries, and that's the kind of people we want to be. We want to be truth seekers that embrace all truth. So, The World of Mathematics, Volume 1, edited by James Newman. I'm going to recommend volume 1, but all of them have different interesting things in them. You can probably see online what they cover, and you could order a different one if there's something in there that you'd like to read about. It's not going to be a cover-to-cover read. It's going to be a reference. It's going to help you in times when you are wanting to learn more about something in particular, and when your child wants to do stats or they want to understand math and war. Maybe you've got a son that's really on fire about war. Well, you could get him interested in math by talking about how much math is used in war, by reading some of the things in volume 4. So look them up and go ahead and buy the ones that you think will be of use to you and your family, and use them to inspire yourself and your family to be lifelong learners and to come to greater truth. See you next time.